If you're ready to get your spark back, your mojo, that energy, that joie de vivre, that feeling that you know is still inside of you, then this is the episode for you, sister. Tune in to learn the 5 steps to getting your mojo back and how to actually do the steps and get results. Let's dive in. What's up, sister? Welcome back to the Period Whisperer podcast, the show helping perimenopause and menopause women de-stress your body and decode what it's saying to you so you can own your own health, energy, and weight loss again. If you're new, I'm so happy you're here. I'm Bria. I'm your host, a recovering people pleaser and hustle addict turned functional and holistic hormone specialist. Let's lean in and learn what your body is saying to you. Hey there, sister. Welcome back to the Period Whisperer podcast. How are you feeling in your body? It is the end of January-ish, and sometimes this is the time of year where we can feel pretty ick. Maybe you started the year with a bang, with all these goals, with all these intentions, and now it's the end of January and it's cold where you are probably, and nothing's changed, or you're feeling frustrated, or you're just overwhelmed with life. And I want you to know you are not alone. Even with all the work that I do and all the work that I have done in my health, I still have these moments. In fact, something that a lot of women don't know that I find fascinating is that if you're still cycling or irregularly cycling, maybe you're getting closer to menopause, that the egg, which is chosen for ovulation this month, so maybe you just had a rough cycle, maybe your PMS has been worse, was chosen 4 to 6 months ago. And it was started its journey then. So it was impacted by the stress in your body, by what was going on 4 to 6 months ago. And that will show up in your cycle now from what happened 4 to 6 months ago. And I always like to share that fact because when I learned that, it blew my mind, because we can feel like we're doing the things and working really hard and still have setbacks and be like, what am I doing wrong? Like maybe you were doing all these things. Maybe you hear all these tips and these tools and these tricks that I share here on the podcast, and you were feeling good. And then all of a sudden you just got totally derailed by a bad period. I want you to know that it might not be anything you're doing now. It might have everything to do with something that happened 4 to 6 months ago. Start thinking about what was going on 4 to 6 months ago. Was I really stressed? Was I going through something at that point in time? Because that can show up now. And it's such a reminder that our growth, our progress is never linear, right? It's often 2, 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 2, 3 steps forward, 1 step back. But that's why we got to keep going forward. So I hope you take that. I find it really inspiring as a reminder, like, okay, this is just a bad day. This is just a bad cycle. I'm going to keep going, keep doing the things that I know are right for me because my body is telling me for the most part she likes it, and I'm going to keep going. So if you're having that hard time, I feel you. You're not alone. Let's keep going together. And if you are crushing it, then high five, sister. You just keep on going. So today I wanted to take some time. If you are new to the show, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode. If you are one of my clients out there, and I know you guys listen, I love you. I'm so grateful. Thanks for tuning in. And if you are someone who's been listening for a while and maybe you're wondering, okay, I need to do something about this. She says stuff that's real to me. I get it. That's me. That's me. That's me. I need to actually take action. I want to talk to you today about how you can take action with me if it's the right thing for you. And if it's not the right thing for you, this episode's still going to be beneficial because I'm going to walk you through my process so you can understand how to do the process maybe for yourself, or maybe find someone that you do resonate with, because I don't for once think I'm for everybody, but I think working with a coach or working with someone, a functional practitioner who's really going to dive in and explain your results to you and help you understand, it's like a therapist. It's like finding a partner. Not one person is for everyone. So we do want to see who we connect with because we want to enjoy our time with that person. So whether you're new, whether you've worked with me before, I'm going to talk about this today. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know over the last few episodes, every week, instead of interviews with experts, I've been interviewing some of my clients so you can hear from real women and hear their hope and hear their success stories. And I'm going to continue that all year long. You're going to hear from at least one of my group coaching clients or one of my one-on-one clients every month, so you always have someone to go back to and see if you can identify with their story. Maybe give you some hope because you can hear how yucky they were feeling and how great they're feeling now and what they went through and what was challenging. Because for me, anytime in my life I've been struggling, I look for success stories. And I don't just look for their end result, I look for their journey. And I find it really helpful to know, like, okay, they fall off the wagon. Okay, they had so much going on in their life, like I do. Okay, I really try to find this to the relation in the struggle to know, to use it as motivation to keep going. So I'm hoping that you see that. And so even though I will be going back to sharing those as well as some amazing experts I have coming for you this year in 2025, I wanted to take today, since today is the last day to join my group coaching program, Midlife Mojo. And the doors close tonight at midnight. And I only run this program twice a year because it's a pretty in-depth program. I really feel strongly that although there's a lot of little mini courses we can buy out there that can give us some great information, that real growth happens with coaching. Anytime I make big steps in my life, in my health, in my success, it's always with coaching. It's always, with sort of one-on-one coaching. So how I work is really either one-on-one in a one-on-one capacity where we work together for 3 to 6 months, or in this group coaching program, Midlife Mojo. And because today is the last day for Midlife Mojo, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it. Midlife Mojo is a 12-week program. So it's a 12-week commitment that follows my methodology that I use for all of my one-on-one clients to get results as well. And these 5 steps look like, number 1, understanding your body. So we always spend some time really understanding what's going on in your body so that you're not confused anymore. I think so many of us have not been taught about our body. I was one of them, have not been taught about perimenopause. So we understand what's actually happening in our body and even look back on our own life, our last 5 years, and think like, oh, why might she be here? Because I think when we understand that, we can have a little bit more compassion. And here's my bait and hook. Yes, perimenopause is causing you problems right now. I'm certain of it. It's not the only reason. Often it's other issues that are irritating your perimenopause because your body's beautiful and she's designed to make these transitions pretty seamlessly on her own. Yes, it's more work, but she's designed to be able to do this. If we're having a lot of issues, there's often underlying problems. That's my bait and switch. You might come to me because you're in perimenopause, but we're going to fix the real issue. We're going to get down there. So step number 1, we're going to understand your body, and that's going to give you some self-compassion, probably a little bit of patience. Maybe for my type A's, not so much patience. I relate to that. Step number 2, we're going to talk about how to reduce the energy demand on your body. You're going to learn tips and strategies on how to do that. Most often when that happens, people start sleeping better, start having a little bit more energy throughout the day, start feeling a little human again, like they can handle a little bit more. And then we're going to talk about real tips and strategies and things that you're going to implement over a couple of weeks to increase your specific energy supply. And this piece is important. This piece includes metabolic typing, which is a test that we run inside of Midlife Mojo and my one-on-one clients, where we start to understand your metabolic type, the rate that your genetic cells turn food into fuel. And that's really important because this is why out in the world, there's people who are thriving off of keto, which is a very high protein, high fat, low carbohydrate diet. And there are people who are thriving off of plant-based, which is a very much higher carbohydrate, lower fat protein diet. And the opposite can be true, right? You may have tried both of these things and feel like junk. So this helps us have a starting point for what your body needs to know so that we can really quiet that food noise. And this is what happens in step 3. We quiet the food noise, the cravings, so that you are not feeling like you're having to give up a whole bunch of things and this is madness and you'll never be able to maintain it. That's what happens in step number 3. In step number 4, we fix the supply chain issues of energy into your body. So if you can imagine, I always picture like a pipeline into the body, when we eat, when we sleep, when we breathe, when we have joy, these are all energy sources for us. But if the supply chain, if that pipeline in the body that goes all around to our body to fuel it with energy so it can do its thing, if it's kinked or broken or there's a hole in it, then that energy is never getting to us the way it needs to be. And so we actually do a functional lab, a Dutch complete test, which I love so much because it really looks not just at the production of your adrenal and sex hormones, but also at their pathways. It's going to point fingers to the thyroid. It's going to help us understand if there's liver congestion, which is a lot of the time why we're having hormonal issues. It's going to help us understand if there's problems in the gut that we need to look more deeply at. It's going to help us look if there's some mineral deficiencies in the body. So it really gives us a beautiful picture. And this is a lab I run for myself every single year, always, always, always. If you could only run one lab, this is the one I would run. To help us understand where are the kinks in my supply chain. And so we go through that process. You get to understand your results. We create a customized protocol for you. So this is the one time in our group coaching program where we actually have a one-on-one call, just you and me. And we go over your results so that you understand them. And we go over your tweaked plan so that you know why it's going to help you and how it's going to help you. And then step number 5, at this point, you're going to be feeling more energy. You're going to be ready to invest that energy in something. And I'm going to teach you how to best invest that energy so that you can bulletproof your results, so that you can continue to get results when you leave Midlife Mojo. So it is a 12-week program that follows this 5-step methodology. It is proven. I have done it hundreds of times with women. You're hearing them on the podcast share their story these days. So if you haven't, go back and listen to them. There was Anushka, there was Ilsa, there's so many, and there's more coming. So get ready. You can hear them right here. And it's holistic, right? Because I'm a functional diagnostic practitioner and a holistic health coach and a personal trainer and a bit of a motivation junkie, you're going to get nutrition in here. You're going to get mindset. You're going to get fitness. You're going to get healing. You're going to get motivation. All of it in here, because that's what it takes. It's like a full service gig. We need all of these pieces to really get that mojo back. So it's a group coaching program. In the group coaching program, you get community. It's a small community. I'm not into having 100 women in this group. This is a 25 max women group. And I like it small when it has to be small because that's all the time I have. But I also like creating a very connected environment where we can learn from each other. And we have weekly live calls. So every week there's a 1-hour call where we have something that we learn, an opportunity to ask questions, and actual live coaching as if it were one-on-one. So we have that opportunity right there built in. You get your metabolic typing test in there. You get your Dutch test in there. And of course, you get that 1-hour private call with me, which includes a customized protocol. So this is the part of the group coaching program where we really get to tweak it for you. When we understand your metabolic type, it's going to get tweaked for you. And when we understand what's going on in your specific Dutch lab results, it's going to get tweaked for you. So we get all of these pieces inside the group coaching program, and you get lifetime access to the content. Because listen, we all know, and if you haven't drilled this into your own mind yet, that we don't get here overnight. When I was going through my healing journey, it took me about 6 months. 4 to 6 months before I was like, okay, I feel amazing. 4 to 6 months of most consistency, we'll call it. And that's really important so that you always can come back to this content, go through it over and over again, and know that it's there for you. So you don't need to go invest in anything else. It is here. You can come back. You can go through it. You can reach out. You can talk to me. You can listen to the podcast because you know I'm going to be here week after week sharing these tips and cheering you on and giving you the direction that you need to keep going, because that's where most of the success happens. I always like to say, who is this for, right? This is a group coaching program. So it's not for everyone. Not everybody is going to want to be a part of a group coaching program, but it's for people who like connection with other people. I've had the blessing and the privilege of working with thousands of women in my career in the wellness industry. And some people just thrive in that accountability space, in that connection space of having an actual community of people to tap into at any point in time, because they have the private group to go to, and they have me, obviously, but you get other people to relate to who are going through it with you. So if you like that feeling, if you like that connection and you want to meet more people and you want to feel less alone that way, it can be a really good fit for you. It's also more budget friendly. When I work one-on-one with someone, it is very in-depth. We are working one to 1.5 hours, every 2 to 3 weeks, for 3 to 6 months. So it is much more in depth, just you and me going through everything, really working on blocks that you may have. So if you do better in an environment where you prefer more one-on-one contact, then the group might not be for you, but it is more budget friendly. You're able to get in at a lower price point. And one of the things that I love about this is once we have worked together, whether it's one-on-one or group coaching, you can always just book a one-off call with me. You can always do just a singular lab test. And I can't offer that to just anyone. I can only offer that to people I've worked with, because really functionally working with someone means understanding their lifestyle and medical history. And that requires time. So once I know this about you through the program of Midlife Mojo or one-on-one coaching, then you can always come back and just work with me, in a one-off capacity if you need it. So there's a lot of pieces here. It's definitely the Midlife Mojo itself is not for someone who has a lot of complex health issues, and we have a lot of moving pieces and you need that one-on-one time, right? If we know we need to be doing definitely a GI map, definitely, looking at food sensitivities, if you're having a lot of gut health issues, it's likely better off that we are digging into that piece, that we're looking at the toxins, we're looking at your mucosal barrier, that we're looking at more pieces of the puzzle. So this is a great group though, if you have been trying to lose weight and you can't, if you cannot seem to sleep very well through the night, if you're feeling more frustrated, and you just need that direct guidance and that real functional help, and you love doing it with other people, Midlife Mojo is going to get you there. It's a wonderful program for that, and I am so proud of it, and something that I have run now. I think this will be our fifth or sixth cohort. But like I said, I only run it in January and September, mostly because I find these are the times, and these are our times where we're ready to make a change. January, we're ready to make a change. September, we're ready to make a change. The rest of the time, we might want to change, but it is difficult because so much is going on in our life. So doors are closing tonight. Most importantly, as you hear me talk about this program, maybe it's not for you right now, and that is okay. If it's not, I want you to keep coming back to the Period Whisperer podcast. Keep listening to these episodes. Reach out if you have questions. Connect with me on Instagram. Keep showing up for yourself. Remember that there's no perfect time, but when we do make a commitment into coaching, we want to be able to show up for it. So it is something that's important that you're like, okay, this is my time. I'm going to commit. And here's the cool thing about commitment. Whenever I invest money and commit to a person that I'm going to do something, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up better for them, even than for myself. I would love for you to all really just show up for yourself. But if you make this commitment to join Midlife Mojo, then you're committing to me, and that I'm going to reach out and I'm going to be there for you. And so is this group of women. Now, listen, if you are listening and you're like, look, I've got a lot of complex problems, Bria, or you know what, I just much prefer one-on-one coaching. I get that. A lot of the times that's where I like to make my investment, is in one-on-one coaching, because I love that private time. I'm a bit more of a private person. It just makes me feel a little bit more comfortable and seen. If that's you, I want you to swipe up and book a free call with me so we can better understand what you're going through and see if one-on-one coaching is going to be a good fit for you. But above all else, sister, when you're listening to this, if you've been suffering with symptoms, or hey, listen, you're about to hear in the next couple of weeks from one of my amazing clients who wasn't feeling badly, but just wanted to feel even better. Maybe you're listening and you're like, I don't feel awful. I don't have all these things that you're talking about, but I'd like to feel amazing. I totally feel you. I want to feel at my peak performance. And that's ultimately my goal for you, is to get you out of health debt and into peak performance. And of course, we know that takes time, but if you're feeling okay and you just think you could feel better, then Midlife Mojo could be a great fit for you, like a real tune-up and then a clear understanding of what's going on in your hormonal health, or one-on-one coaching could be a great fit for you so that we could really dive in, know where everything starts at. Either way, most importantly, I want you to take action. I want you to take action today on something, whether, again, it's just committing to coming back and listening to the podcast, whether it is booking a discovery call, whether it's joining us in Midlife Mojo, whether it's connecting with a friend who's going through some of this, or maybe finally going to your healthcare practitioner and getting a checkup, whatever it is, take action on your health. Because doing nothing, not only I used to love this saying, when you change nothing, nothing changes. I used to love that. It doesn't apply in perimenopause. When you change nothing, things start going in the wrong direction in perimenopause because our body's engine is not working as efficiently as it used to be. So if you're suffering a little right now and you do nothing, it's only going to get worse. And we don't want that. It's much easier to dig yourself, out of a 2-foot hole than it is a 4-foot hole. It's never too late to dig yourself out of any size of a hole. Let me say that. But if you're here right now and you're not feeling great, and that's why you're here listening to this podcast, I want you to feel better than you do. And if you're out there crushing it and you just like to tune in, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Maybe you should be on the podcast. I'd love to hear from you. All right, sisters, remember this. If you have tried everything on your own, or you cannot seem to be consistent, that's when you know it's time for help. Your body is a puzzle. I always think about this with my clients and myself and my own health. Our body is a puzzle. Sometimes we need help putting that puzzle together, especially if your puzzle is like a 5,000 piece puzzle. Some of us are just stuck at the 500 piece mark, and it's not so bad. A lot of it we can handle on our own. But if you are deep in a messed up puzzle and some of the pieces have been lost under the couch and we don't know, maybe the dog ate one, it's time for some help and some guidance to get you out of there. And you know that what you're doing or what you've been doing has not been working for you. So take action to do something different. All right, sister. From my heart to yours, I am excited for you to take this year by the horns and be more in your life and not just less on a scale, and join Midlife Mojo if this feels right for you. But listen, if you're not sure, send me a message. We'll book a quick call. I'll hold you a spot. Have an amazing, amazing day. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Period Whisperer podcast. If you liked this episode, take 30 seconds right now to write a review on iTunes and then reach out to me directly on Instagram at Bria_period_whisperer and message me there with a screenshot of your review. As a thank you, I will give you a customized free hormone audit to get you on your way to the best health of your life in midlife.